Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. More Birthright coverage for you as we're winding our way towards the end, finally, of the domain actions. So we got about 6 more to go here overall. Today we're going to take a look at one that goes hand in hand, really, with moving troops, and that's mustering armies. So something you'll definitely be doing in most campaigns in some way, shape, or form. So it's automatic success, it's a free action, and obviously has different costs based on what types of units you're raising. So when we've looked at that in the past as well, but we'll circle back around to some more army and fighting battles content in the near future. A regent can create new army units by mustering troops, raising a levy, or hiring mercs in a province that they rule or where they have holdings. Key point there. A province can raise military units equal to its level, never higher, in a single domain turn. The province ruler can bar other regions from raising armies in their province if they wish. And I like that the province cap really keeps you from, just raising ridiculous amounts of units. So there's an incentive there to raise it higher or rule it higher so that you then could raise more troops as needed. So it's a nice little give and take on that. A new unit must be trained and outfitted and cannot be used in the same action round as it's created. So again, have a little bit of a hold on there. So again, good stuff. So you got to plan ahead sometimes if you suspect that you'll be needing troops in the near future or, suspect a possible invasion, stuff like that. Mercs are an exception, however, as they're immediately available because they're already mercenaries, right? They're already doing their business, as it were. So another side benefit here, not side benefit, but sort of other way of going about it, is you can have militia units, right? So that's a special condition. Militia units or levies are composed of people basically who have other jobs. In other words, just average citizens. So raising militia temporarily does reduce the province level by 1, so keep that in mind. The province's rating is restored when the militia is disbanded because, well, it's your actual citizen population going out to fight, so there should be some sort of penalty there. Now, if the unit, unfortunately, is slaughtered in a foreign war, the province's rating is permanently lowered. Any holdings that exceed the province's level are reduced accordingly by the DM, right? So yeah, if you're in a bad spot and you decide to go this route and, those guys just get slaughtered, poof, there goes a province level and, whatever holdings you've had, but also maybe other people in that province all drops as well, drops accordingly. And that could then have some other further sort of effects in that regard, since if you're raising the militia or the levies causes somebody else's guild holding to drop, that could cause some negative reactions there and maybe some enmity there. Same thing with temples, etc. So lots of different ways that can have sort of ripple effects of going about the militia. Now, if it's just raising some militia or levies to deal with just a small issue, maybe like, one marauding goblin unit or something like that, you can raise a couple units and hopefully they'll be able to eventually beat them down. But it could turn bad too, where, just the cards in the battle doesn't shake out right and you have a whole civilian population that gets slaughtered, and then looking on how you can then rule your way out of that as a competent ruler. That is a whole nother challenge there. That can lead to some interesting reactions too, and maybe the DM there, rather than going purely a random event, actually sort of picks one that then fits sort of the results of that disaster. So there's just so many cool ways that can go sideways, and really create some interesting role-playing options, but also test the player as far as like how well can they get out of these bad situations. So that's always a fun one there. But yeah, mustering armies, pretty easy stuff, right? So again, there's an incentive to raise some of your provinces up at least to decent levels, because if you're looking to get into a large campaign or battle or series of battles, or needing to really defend your territories, if you have just a bunch of 2s in your domain, that's not going to let you raise a whole hell of a lot. And again, they still have to wait a turn before they're available. So yeah, you certainly want to get at least a few provinces, ideally in the 4s and 5s, or even higher potentially, just to be able to raise decent sized armies. Because as we've seen from reviewing all the different Annuarian provinces, there's definitely a few heavy hitters out there. So if you're on the wrong side of, Borroween, Avenel, or Gore, and those are the super big ones, but there's still others that have decent size armies. You'll want to be able to raise a competent response, a sizable response. because those other domains have, I think, armies in the 20s or 30s, which is just bonkers. But yeah, so, or if you're looking to be super decisive too, and it's time to maybe invade a neighbor, and they have a decent sized army, but you just want to for sure win, you'll raise something maybe like 2-to-1 versus them, right? Just so you can still keep some units at home for defense, but really have a very aggressive offensive series of units that you'll be able to actually go and invade and hopefully conquer. So a lot of fun stuff there around mustering armies. Let us know some of your success stories, your best moments in campaigns as far as dealing with the mustering of armies goes, and also militia, and how you've hired mercs too. Again, that's another option, right? There are the risks there of what happens when the mercs are no longer needed, and that can lead to some interesting story elements too, somewhat similar to disbanding militias, or not militias, but not disbanding, but losing militias and levies, and just seeing how that all shakes out. So mercs can be a problem in and of themselves, but they're cheap and readily available too. So hit us up in the comments there, guys. Let us know your favorite moments dealing with armies. Like, subscribe, and if you want to support the channel a little bit more as well, check out our Patreon. We've had a couple of exclusive Birthright videos up there as well, so you get a lot of early access to some content, and others that will just purely remain unique to Patreon there. So we got a couple different levels people can support, and I love everybody who's been doing that so far. So we'll see you in the next one, guys.